You've got to see this one. Today we're talking about one of my favorite Hollywood legends of all time, Clint Eastwood. Aside from being a complete badass on screen, the man with no name is known for calling out the modern Hollywood scene, and he is absolutely not a fan of the whole politically correct culture that has taken over the industry. But before I go on with the video, why don't you go ahead and make my day by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell?
I read somewhere where I heard an interview with you saying that being politically correct is ruining the entertainment industry or something like that.
I don't know if I said that, but I said something probably similar. I think it's dull. It's, nobody's enjoying. I grew up in a neighborhood with lots of different types of people, a lot of different nationalities, and along the way, because I moved a lot, I was born in the Depression. And so I moved a lot, and I knew a lot of people, and I always enjoyed the differences. And I think if people enjoy the differences in everybody, then they are willing to have fun with it. I guess we used to have fun with it. We'd insult each other and laugh and scratch with it, and it was not a bad thing. People didn't take themselves that seriously at that point in time.
To put things into perspective, Clint Eastwood comes from a totally different era, a time when life was simpler and people focused on the things that truly mattered. So it's totally normal that he's not a man who buys into modern political correctness, and while the woke mob might criticize him for that, it's important to understand where he comes from. Eastwood grew up in a period when the key concerns were the economy, national security, and putting food on the table. People didn't have the luxury to get lost in language policing or endless identity debates. Back then, folks were more concerned with action than optics, and that's why Eastwood is more interested in solutions than virtue signals. His approach to life, both in his films and in interviews, reflects that old school mentality where what you did mattered more than what you said. In a way, that's refreshing in today's hypersensitive, hyperpolarized culture. One of Eastwood's most legendary moments came during the 1973 Oscars. Watch what he said as he was presented one of the awards.
I don't know if I should present this award on behalf of all the cowboys shot in all the John Ford Westerns over the years.
These comments came after Marlon Brando famously refused to accept his Best Actor award for The Godfather in protest of Hollywood's treatment of Native Americans. Brando sent Native American activist Sachin Littlefeather to decline the Oscar on his behalf. However, she ended up not being Native American, by the way. The moment was historic, but Eastwood's response to it was an instant classic. It showed his sharp, dry, unapologetic character. For years, the joke flew under the radar, but as modern society became more sensitive and reactive, some people tried to bring it back into the spotlight to cancel Eastwood. The woke crowd criticized the joke, labeling it as dismissive and disrespectful to the cause Brando was championing. But here's the thing, Clint Eastwood is Clint Eastwood. He's a Hollywood legend with decades of iconic performances and endless contributions to film. The attempt to cancel him for a joke made nearly 50 years ago did not stick, mainly because his status is unshakable. His legacy built on hard work, undeniable talent, and an I don't care what you think attitude. This makes him nearly impossible to cancel. He even made appearances during the 2012 Republican National Convention. Watch what he said next.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what's a movie tradesman doing out here? They're all left-wingers out there, left of Lenin. At least that's what people think, but that's not really the case. There's a lot of conservative people, a lot of moderate people, Republicans, Democrats in Hollywood. It's just that conservative people, by the nature of the word itself, play a little more close to the vest, and they don't go around a hot dog in it. So, but they're there. Believe me, they're there.
This one is really interesting because in a world where Hollywood actors are eager to use every red carpet award show and social media post to make political statements, Eastwood stands out as an exception, and we desperately need more actors to follow suit. You see, he gave a political speech where they've usually given, which is the campaign trail or a rally. The majority of Hollywood personalities today fail to understand that and start preaching from the stage. I think this should serve as a reminder of the days when actors were admired for their craft, not for their hot takes or the latest political controversy. It's not that Eastwood doesn't have opinions, far from it, but he's not interested in using every opportunity to force those views onto the audience. He separates work as an artist from his role as a citizen, understanding that people come to watch his movies to be entertained, not lectured. By the way, I've noticed you haven't subscribed to the video yet. What are you waiting for? Eastwood also gave valuable insights on his son Scott at the inner workings of Hollywood. Watch what he describes next.
In Hollywood, it's not even what's true sometimes. It's just perceived. You know, my dad used to always say, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. And that always stuck with me because, you know, you sit down with people in the industry or whatever, and you just hear, you know, a lot of Hollywood is gossip, right? It's full of gossip queens. Everybody wants to talk shit about someone they worked with or tell some story and tell how difficult somebody was or this, that, and you don't even, you know, it's just a business built on, you know, it's just a house of cards, you know, and you're like, well, how do you even know that that's even true?
Right.
You know, and so it's kind of,
Navigating the rumor mill has become an essential skill for anyone who wants to make it in Hollywood. Just think about it. The place is like high school, but on a much larger scale with millions of dollars at stake. It's not enough to be a great actor or filmmaker anymore. You gotta be part of the in crowd. If you're on the radar of a big name producer, director, or the gatekeeping agents, then doors will be open. And if not, well, good luck getting traction. For instance, Harvey Weinstein was a massive power player in Hollywood well before his fall from grace, and for years everyone knew that if you wanted a real shot at an Oscar, you had to be on his good side. And there were plenty of stars that kept close because that's just how the game worked. But some people have clearly used the rumor mill to their advantage, like the Kardashians and the Jenners. They're essentially household names at this point, and it's not because of their massive talent, it's because they mastered the art of staying relevant through gossip. In addition to networking with the right people or dating them in some instances, it's wild, but Hollywood is just as much about maintaining relationships and dodging the latest scandal as it is about making art. There's one more clip that I want to show you before ending the video, and it has a really important message as we're less than a month away from the elections.
But I'd just like to say something, ladies and gentlemen. Something that I think is very important is that we own this country. And it's not you owning it and not politicians owning it. Politicians are employees of ours. And so they're just going to come around and beg for votes every few years, and it's the same old deal. But I just think that it's important that you realize that and that you're the best in the world. And whether you're Democrat or whether you're a Republican or whether you're libertarian or whatever, you're the best, and we should not ever forget that. And when somebody does not do the job, we got to let them go.
When was the last time you saw a Hollywood celebrity pushing a message of true unity? But Clint Eastwood, being the legend that he is, called for it during his 2012 RNC speech. I think at a time where the country has never seen such levels of divide and polarization before, such statements are needed more now than ever, as we should focus on what unites us rather than what divides us. But please tell me, what are your thoughts on this? Let's get the conversation rolling in the comments down below, and please don't forget to share this with your friends to keep them informed too.